Hey Jim, how are you? Nope, you're all good here. We're just getting ready to start. I'm gonna put the phone down here. We can start. Yes.
I call to order the December 3rd, 2024 Combined Reorganization and Public Works/Agenda Setting Board Meeting of the Leechburg Area School District. 6:03 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Roll call of the holdover board members, please. Here. Here.
Mr. Levitt. Here. Mr. Lovelace.
Here.
Mr. Maxson.
Here.
Mr. Pauls. Ms. Gordon.
Here.
Mr. Thomas.
Here. Just want to note that the public official policy is taking a final right now. So we should not on that. So we can be here for the rework meeting.
An executive session was conducted prior to the public meeting at 5:45 p.m., December 3rd, 2024, in the Leechburg Library meeting room to discuss personnel and contracts and legal matters. No minutes. A motion is needed to open nominations for the position of temporary president for board reorganization purposes. Do we have a nomination?
I nominate Ashley for president.
Oh, just one second, Jim. We just need a temporary president and then you can nominate.
I want to nominate Joe Levitt.
A temporary president.
Yeah. Mr. Maxson has nominated Joe Leppish as the temporary president.
I second that.
Okay.
I second that.
Any other discussion? Wait, we're going to vote on the temporary president. All in favor of Joe Leppish as the temporary president for board reorganization purposes?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. A motion is needed. Oh, I'm sorry, I messed this up. A motion is needed to close nominations for the position of temporary board reorganization purposes. So let's do that.
Motion. Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sorry that I messed this up. A motion is needed to elect Joe Leppish to the position of temporary president for board reorganization purposes.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So Joe, go ahead, but I think that you can skip this part because it was they probably used last year's, right?
I apologize for not taking that off.
That's okay.
I jumped ahead too, thinking that I had to solve all the problems there, and it was all spelled out for me.
Okay, so a motion is needed to open nominations for the position of Leechburg Area School Board President.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, a motion is needed,
Well, we got to nominate.
Okay, does anyone have any nominations for the position of school board president?
I nominate Ashley.
Second.
A motion is needed to close nominations for the position of Leesburg Area School Board President.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A motion is needed to elect Ashley Coudray to the position of Leesburg Area School Board President.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passed.
I think I can take it now. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate that. A motion is needed to open nominations for the position of Leechburg School Board Vice President.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The floor is open for nominations for Vice President.
I nominate Andrew Paulus.
Okay. A motion is needed to close nominations for the position of Leechburg Area School Board Vice President.
Motion. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to elect Andrew Paulus to the position of Leechburg Area School Board Vice President.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to adjourn the reorganization meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 6:09 PM. So call to order. Pledge of Allegiance again? Okay, okay, okay. Roll call for the opening of the Public Work Agenda Setting Board meeting.
Dr. Coudray,
Here.
Mr. Dunbar,
Here.
Mrs. Knight,
Here.
Mr. Lutfish,
Here.
Mr. Lovett,
Here.
Mr. Maxson,
Here.
Mr. Paulus, Ms. Stewart,
Here.
and Mrs. Thomas.
Here.
Student Representative Report. Connor Duff.
Good evening, school board. Okay, I only have two things for you today, so sorry. But the Leechburg seniors took the win at Powder Puff against the juniors on Friday, November 22nd. Additionally, the NHS announced its first ever Powder Puff King Court, which consisted of Jake Cummings, Jaden Floyd, Eric Woe, Chase Henry, and Tyler Lucas. It was announced that during halftime, the winner was Eric Woe. The Leechburg Drama Club is having their fall fundraiser play Red Herring next Friday, December 13th, and Saturday, December 14th. There will be one show at 7:30 on Friday and two shows on Saturday at both 2 o'clock and 7:30. Tickets will be available at the door, $5 for students and $8 for adults. Please come out and support a drama club. Your attendance will help fund our spring musical. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Connor. Any public comment on agenda items this evening? No. Yes? No? Well, you can segue right into your intermediate unit report, Ms. Stewart.
And I was not able to attend because I was out of town, so I have nothing to.
Okay, that's
I
okay.
can just add to that, they did post the position.
Oh.
Executive Director, Dr. Kersey has been working with that position right now.
Okay.
The time frame as they start to do it, they want to watch what they want, so they did post.
Okay, because the last time I knew that they were working
They're
on.
just getting, I just got posted right before.
Okay, because I didn't hear that, so
The Lenape monthly report, Mr. Lovelace and
Adult education graduation will be held on December the 19th. The next JOC meeting is December the 19th, and winter break will be December 23rd to January 3rd.
all right. Armstrong County Tax Collection Committee report, there has been no meeting. PSBA member liaison report, Mr. Paulus, I'll ask him if he could email something to us. Administrative reports, Dr. Varga.
Good evening. I hope everybody had a restful and happy Thanksgiving. So we're back at it. Concert season is upon us. So December 12th, the intermediate, middle school, and high school band concert will be performing. That show starts at 6 p.m. December 18th, middle school, high school choir concert. That will go off at 7 p.m. here in the auditorium. December 9th is progress reports, midpoint reports for the second 9 weeks. Winter sports is in full swing. So junior high boys basketball has started. I believe they had a scrimmage today. Girls and boys varsity basketball has begun. So we had our tip-off tournament here at home. The boys went 1-on-1 and took third place. The girls, they took fourth place. The girls had a game yesterday. It was a tight game, but they came up short against Jeanette. And the boys are playing St. Joe's this evening. The next girls' game is December 9th versus East Allegheny at home. So come out and support them. Parent-teacher conferences, we finished those up. I feel like it went well. Received some positive feedback from parents in regards to our scheduling approach. I feel this is something that we'll want to continue into next year, and we've already started discussing some things that we'd like to improve, for the experience for parents coming in. As for the branding guide, I started that process. I started talking with students today, just to kind of discuss, the need for it, what the process will look like, just kind of give them some insight. So when we do some of the surveying pieces and looking for volunteers to jump on committees to help out. They know what they're getting into, and obviously, if they need to, answer some questions for friends, they can certainly do that while these things are going on, because we want a good representation of, what we're trying to go for in the direction we're in. We held a department meeting today for the high school, and so it's just the final push of our program of studies, those changes and updates, talking about creation of budgets, and then the final steps for Student of the Month, which we're going to try to kick off this month. With looking at 5 major points, for our students here, or those nominees, which would be self-discipline, proactiveness, preparedness, daily expectations, and respects for others' personal space. So it feels like I just said this, but if I don't see everybody before the Christmas and New Year's break, hopefully you guys have a good, restful one, and we'll see you in January, but I imagine I'll probably see most of you before then. So any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barker.
Hi. For technology, I just have a real brief report. Tonight we have made progress on 2 important projects. One is our Power School Student Information System upgrade. Just concluded about an hour and a half ago, and that was successful. So it doesn't mean all the work is done. We have some testing ahead and some plug-in upgrades, but a lot of the big work is behind us there. And then secondly is we got all of the desktop computers configured for Creation Nation. We have it in one of our data closets, so that's on track to get those PCs updated by the end of the year. So that's all I got. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Comar.
Good evening, everybody. Feels like we were just here. So at the elementary, if you get a chance to walk through the halls there, finishing those up, staff did a wonderful job as far as making the halls look really festive and really a lot of holiday spirit and holiday cheer. So the elementary looks phenomenal right now. As Dr. Vargas said, parent-teacher conferences went really well at the elementary as well. A lot of good positive feedback on the scheduling app and how things went. So really happy about how those went. Tomorrow we have our Polar Express pre-K event. Right now we have 22 kids signed up, which is good. And our initial projected numbers for this kindergarten class will like it's going to be a bigger class, which is good as well. Also this week, we have the winter choir concert on Thursday. It's starting at 7. And then on the 12th, we have the winter band concert starting at 6. PTA is doing their Santa shop. Again, if you get a chance to check out 302, they've really dressed that up to look really nice for the kids and have a good experience down there. We'll do our winter parties on the 20th, and that's also an early dismissal for the district. The elementary will get out at 1:15 on the 20th. As far as special ed goes, we have 13 IEP meetings scheduled for December, 1 GIEP, and 1 504. We currently have 6 students in the MTSS process. Any questions for me? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Adam Magic, Metz Environmental.
Good evening, everybody. I'll keep it pretty short here since we met last couple weeks ago. So just wanted to go over, we had a railing fall outside over on the playground. We're going to get that repaired hopefully tomorrow. It's going to be probably the warmest day of the week. So I really want to thank Dawn for jumping on that and getting that ready for tomorrow to get that put back up. I also want to thank Jesse from Ironside Electrical, getting all those electrical projects we needed done during Thanksgiving break. One of the issues we found is that the 15 mile per hour LED sign is actually like fried right now. So we did get the controller. The controller's fine. We just have that sign is just gone from those bad storms we had a couple weeks ago. So we're looking into replacing that now. Biggest update I have right now is probably the tables for the cafeteria. So what's going on right now is the regular plain tables are ready to go. The logo tables actually come out of a factory in North Carolina where they had all the hurricanes and the storms, so they're going to be delayed a little bit. We do have the option to get the regular tables early, and they will ship the logo ones when they're ready, in I believe mid-January. And it will be free of charge. There's not going to be a double charge on shipping. So if we want to move forward and get the plain ones ready to go, we can do that, or we can wait and have them all shipped at one time and move them out that way. So we'll make a decision on that and keep you guys posted. But other than that, that's it pretty much. And I want to thank McClure for coming out to give you guys a idea of what's going on with the facilities and our plan. And I hope you guys just appreciate and just the work they put into this and just see what they got to say. I appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Tess is not here. Okay. Business report, Mr. Sassna.
I kind of reiterate what everybody else has mentioned since we met a couple weeks ago. I don't have a whole lot to add other than that we're still following along with the timeline that's presented to us from PDE regarding the budget. And in January, we'll bring forth the resolution to pass for Act 1 that's required by the state. One thing that is new since we met last time, we did get the annual financial report, the initial report filed. And excuse me. And in working with the auditors over the next month or two, I'd say into January, we may, if they have any adjustments, audit adjustments, have to refile the annual financial report. But we met the initial due date, and anything significant I do not expect. But that could be it could be something that that we have to do again here in December and January. And other than that, December just brings the end of the year, not the school year, but tax reporting year. And we're currently working with within the office and getting organized and ready to get W-2s and 1099s prepared and ready to go out in the next month. So with that, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rondo asked me to have our engagement on this evening to bring the update on January and that's one of the great things that one of those
The McClure presentation on facilities.
Good morning, or yeah, good evening, I guess. It's been a long day. My name is Eric Petrazzi. I'm a McClure Account Executive. With me tonight, I have Nick Minotti here, Mike Scales, and Dave McNally. Some familiar faces, obviously some new faces here. We were part of the project back in 2022 and 23. You have a document in front of you tonight. Mike was actually your project manager on that project. Nick was the project development engineer that worked on the account, and Dave was the vice president that oversaw the entire project. This document you have in front of you, I know I don't want to take too much of your time, but I do want to go through it. We've been working with Dr. Keebler and Mr. Magdick since, I would say probably in March maybe, discussing, what the next phase of work was here at the school. You can flip through that presentation. If you would go to the second page, you can actually see where we're building off of this project with the case study from the last project we did. The project we're discussing, like I said, 22, 23, it started really in 21 when we were working with Dr. Nix when she was still here. We did select HVAC upgrades, we did select roof replacements, ceiling replacements, HVAC controls, lighting, building envelope, central heating plant up at the Baker building, and then some safety improvements around the district. When we did that project, we really understood that there was some financial considerations the district had to take into account. And really the total size of the project was capped at that time with the thought process of coming through and doing more work at a later time. And that will tie into some of this information in here that we have to go through. Before I move on, any questions about that case study and what we did? Okay. As we look at the next page, your scope of work here we looked at for this potential phase really focuses around the high school, elementary school central heating plant, integrating the high school and elementary school VAV hot water boxes that we installed last time, doing some of the high school, elementary school roof replacements, and then window and door replacements around the buildings. And we have outlined each one of these items or energy conservation measures on the document that follows. You can see the central heating plant is approximately 30 years old. You did replace domestic hot water systems recently. They're in good shape. You can see the proposed heating plan on the next page. That's the example that we did over in the Baker building with the brand new heating plan over there. On the following, those boilers there are 93% efficient as opposed to what you have now, which is probably stretching 65%. The next page is the high school, elementary school VAV hot water piping. You can see that's actually an example of one of the VAV boxes we put in. You can see it has controls in it. The next step in this process will be to extend the piping from the radiant ceiling panels, which is the older technology, into these VAVs, so you'll have total control of the building's HVAC, 100% each one of those rooms. That should reduce the issues that you're having with temperature control and temperature fluctuations within the classrooms. It should keep a much more consistent heat for you by transitioning over to those VAV boxes that you already have invested in. The next page really just kind of gives you an outlook of all the HVAC within your building. And when I look at that page, it's actually pretty good as compared to some of your peers. There's a lot of green, which is great. Some yellow, and one or two really oranges. And there are some of the things that we're actually looking at if you look at the hot water heating pump, hot water pumps here. So we're actually looking at those as well. Moving on to the next page, we actually have the elementary school, high school roofing. We did a significant amount of roofing in the last project, as you may recall. We put the metal entrance here on Siberian. We did some of the roofs in the project. We've actually identified another 28,500 square feet of roofing that ultimately is at end of life and failing that we would recommend replacement. This roofing will provide tapering and drainage and allow you with a new 30-year solution. So you don't have to worry about the roofs for the next 30 years, hopefully.
I have a question on that.
Yes, ma'am.
So why didn't you see that whenever you did the other parts?
We did.
We didn't have the money for that?
You didn't have the money for it. That's
So you
correct.
picked the worst part? I just wanna make sure I'm
We
right.
did. We picked
Okay.
the worst parts that we could identify.
Okay.
So we identified probably, there's over 31 sections of roof here. It's very unique, just the way that it's built up. If you look at some of our other schools, they're very large and flat. This has sections all over with multiple roofs. And what we did at that point was, look, we only have this much money. We need to get these roofs done. Let's pick the worst ones.
Okay, and that's what I thought from what I knew
Yep.
before, but I just wanted to hear it again.
Yep, that's correct.
Sure, it was okay.
You are correct. Yep.
So you can actually see the top of the roof. And we're not really going into the detail of this tonight, but that really comes during the next section when we develop a contract and present you with that contract that you would then vote on. Windows and doors. Next page, windows and doors installed in the 90s renovation. A lot of these windows and doors are in really poor shape, where you can see some of the quality of the windows that you have, where you have a lot of wood frames that are rotting. Some of these windows can actually be pushed out if you lean on them, which is a safety risk. A lot of the seals are broken. We would recommend replacing some of the doors in the buildings as well, because of the vintages and the differences finishes. And a lot of the hardware doesn't meet code requirements, and there's not a lot of safety locking mechanisms on there. So what we would recommend would be new windows with thermal protection, new 1-inch insulated glass, glass panels. There's all types of different options that you could pick with the windows, and then doors with higher increased security for you. We just have a couple examples of some of the projects we're completing right now.
I have a question on those two. Where were these windows that you took these pictures of? Because they're not anywhere like where classrooms are.
A lot of these ones are in bathrooms.
Okay.
This is up at convention land up there, on the backside, it's those windows there. And then the majority are the bathrooms here. And I've spoken there a couple of times going, as we look through that, we'll look at prioritizing some of them that are really failing versus, when you're up in my office under I have wood windows, they're not failing right now, so I think it's something we're planning on. But there are some that are in really bad shape.
Yeah, I would say the majority aren't in terrible shape. They should be evaluated for replacement, though, being 30 years old and being wooden framed windows. Typically, a wooden frame window has a life cycle of about 25 to 30 years. So if it stretches beyond that, great, but eventually it should be identified for replacement. And then the next page really has this matrix on it. You can see the matrix that we have here. So we've identified essentially a two-phase project, but this could be broken out into any way you'd like to do it. We could take on any of this work this summer and then phase into another phase down the road if you'd like to. But we really identified the HVAC as the first phase that we would look at, and then with the next potentially being roofing and windows and doors. But if it is the preference of this board to look at all these options, we can do that as well. But essentially, the goal would be to pick a scope of work and have us develop a contract on it, and then present that to the contract to the board to vote on to get done this upcoming summer. I know that Mr. Sessa and Dr. Keebler have some work to do to try to find out, how to finance this, how to pay for this work. But these are the items that we've worked with the district administration to really isolate and identify as critical needs that you have. Because we've already done projects with the district, we essentially have already done the procurement. So all we really would do would just modify the original agreement to take on another scope of work. You're allowed to do that under the state legislation. Any questions there?
Thank you, Eric. I thank everybody for being here. Just as a quick follow-up on that, I'll talk with Mr. Sessler and we'll put an email together here later this week and the next week, which is what this plan looks like and some ideas and multiple options we would have with that. I'm going to get everything out there for the board to look at and consider prior to making any agreement. And as I talked with the whole group, as I met with them earlier today, I don't want to get into a bind that I've seen in my time here where we're making a decision in May that we're going to start in June and our prices are skyrocketing or what we're doing. So really, let's develop a plan of, hey, here's what needs to be done, what it looks like, and then how do we fund any of those upgrades we need. So we'll come up with a plan, work with Mr. Chestnut as well as answering questions from the board as we come up with how we're going to propose to fix these issues.
To piggyback off to Dr. Keebler, we're still in a good position right now as far as timing. Once we get a little bit farther into, say, early February, then it becomes a little bit more critical or timing, because we want to make sure that any of the equipment that we would look to buy will be here in time. We also want to make sure we're securing the labor up front, where we don't have to pull labor from areas where we prefer not to, that would be substandard, because most of the labor forces is already signed up for work going on. So if you think about all the schools in the area, they're really getting their positions lined up for this summer now, which is you guys are as well. So you're not behind the 8 ball at this point. You're still in a good position. But over the next 2 months, it's going to move from a good position to a lesser position of strength, so to speak, where we would, we want to make sure we're following in that timeline just so we can deliver what we're promising.
I have a question that's a little bit different. Where are you based? Like, what's your home base?
So we're based out of Harrisburg, but we have an office up in Wexford. We've been out here in Western Pennsylvania for about 8 or 9 years.
Okay, because as I look at these districts, and I think I did this before, there's none that are really close to us, so we're kind of like out of the way for you.
No, not at all. It only took me 20 minutes to get here. Locally, Quaker Valley, Duquesne City.
Which I call that away, but I'm looking for a comment. To you, it's not. I understand. You're on
I'm
the
sorry.
side. No, I get that. Okay. It's worth it, I guess. For you. Yeah.
I guess you're correct. I mean, we usually travel 50 to 100,000 miles a year around
Yeah,
the
so
state.
it's like it's crazy. No, that's what I was just looking at.
Yeah.
Okay, and I couldn't remember where you were from. So
If you
thank
guys need anything at all, please direct to Dr. Keebler and he'll get to me and I'll make sure we answer for you. We want to make sure you're informed and educated on what we're proposing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great evening. Appreciate your
Merry
time.
Christmas.
Athletic supplementals for 24-25. This is just a discussion. We're going to vote on it after? Okay. Any questions on that? Any questions on item 15.1, the budget transfers, or the financial reports 15.2? Any questions on the December invoices? Catapult Learning LLC Educational Services Agreement?
And I can just add, Catapult, like, that's our Title I reading for M2A on that, so a non-pop is part of our Title I money. The last 2 years, they haven't had any kids qualify. We put that back in this year, they do have qualification. That's why we'll put the contract in. Catapult will serve them. Our other option would be for us to send a reading specialist down there to do the services. In the past, we've always used that, it's been successful. So that's what's the Catapult agreement is for.
Any discussion on government software services and contract for Homestead Farmstead printing? Or the First Commonwealth Bank authorized signers resolution? Michael, we have a professional development request, Michael McKee, ESSOP workshop. This is a retroactive for November 15th. The superintendent's report. It's always tucked in there. You kind of look past it.
Yeah, no, just so some updates. First off, again, I want to thank my admin team on that. As you hear, it makes life really easy whenever they're doing what they're doing right now. So I thank them. Just a few updates. Our PCCD grant, as I've mentioned before, anything to do with PDE or the state of Pennsylvania, there's zero rush. It's pretty difficult to even get a hold of people on that. We had the $68,000 left over out of an original grant from 2021 that we're trying to use for the fire alarms and the PA system. They have not responded in 2 weeks, so we'll continue. Sometimes it takes them a month or so to get back in an email. They don't call back. They don't do those things. But they're giving money out, so we'll take it when we can get it on that part. Just to touch base with that, and we had a retirement last year, and we also had a retirement of our football coach from their piece. We've been messing with this for probably 6-8 weeks now, trying to get a resolution on both of them. So today I actually filed a complaint with Peasers on themselves, and I got both resolved today. So it was kind of interesting that nobody can move till you get a hold of people on it. But it's sad right now working with our state and within it. There's not a lot of follow-up with anybody right now. Following into our STEB discussion and our state representatives, the last email I got back from Renee Reynolds at STEB, she wasn't really willing to meet with us on that. Everybody else had come to the table. So my next approach is going to be to work with our solicitor just to draft a letter to them requesting out one more time that, hey, let's get everybody in the same room so that we can talk this out and figure out what's adjusting what. The last meeting we had Westmoreland County, Armstrong County, and the state, the finance director for PDE, all involved. We had some great conversations with it. We were missing some key pieces from STEB that we couldn't answer ourselves. There was the reason for the email, but they haven't come to the table to help out with that yet. So we're going to continue to push to get our legislators involved, Senator Pittman, as well as Representative Major, who are here, who are key players. If this is a legislation issue, we're not sure. So we'll continue to look at what we can do to get a solution on that part as it goes forward. And we'll have a little bit more detail coming up in January as we're able to start plugging some numbers together. They did open up the budget for next year. So we'll be able to see a little bit of a ballpark of where we're at when we plug it in. And as I've said before, it's not magical of what we do. We put a revenue source for local and it spits everything else out on that. We have no say on that part. So we'll continue to see what that looks like and try to get solutions so we don't have these big jumps for either county going forward. As Mr. Komar said, our kindergarten numbers for screening are up. And I know back when we had the current first grade group talking with the daycares, they had mentioned that the 3-year-old group was just as big as that group. That group had 62 students in kindergarten. So we're already over 40 that we know about. So we're hoping we'll have another group of 60, which is great. Enrollment has been increasing recently. So that's a good thing that has been going on. And last but not least, as I spoke with the board on this and just letting the general public know that we will start some conversations for negotiations with the LEA so that we can look to get a new contract in place for the one that expires in June. Any questions or concerns on anything else?
I just have a question about, so the budget system is opened up.
It did open up, yes.
Were you able to plug any numbers in and see?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still, as he was closing out last year and getting into those pieces, it'll probably be, by the end of the month, we'll be able to plug in just to see, but it won't be very detailed on that. But I think, I'm guessing, just so everybody knows, looking at how STEB works, they use an even odd numbered process. And on those odd years, there's never big increases. It's always the other years. So I think with what we did last year to be able to get those appeals in and some of the other stuff, I don't foresee the values jumping that it's going to be a major part of that. But I do foresee the following year being another big one on that. So we're going to try to figure it out now and not wait till later to do that. But we'll continue working with that whole group, trying to figure out a solution.
My question was just for the budget system, how if we put in how much revenue we want, then it automatically tells you what it's going to charge from each county. That was the question, not the whole budget. So yeah, I just wondered if I'd be interested just whenever you have a chance to see if that was as volatile as last year or not. I don't know. I was just wondering if it was going to be as volatile as it was last year. Yeah. All right. Thank you. School board meeting calendar. Discussion on that. We have the proposed dates. Okay. Any public comment on non-agenda items? No. We need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned at 6:40 p.m. We don't.
No, you get to prove now because it starts in January. The first date's in January.
Okay.
We will have another meeting for that.
So that.
Yeah.
January 8th is our next meeting.
Great. Start a second.
No, this one's 16th. Okay. We got to get the schedule.
Pull around just a bit. It's all
Okay. I now call to order the December 3rd, 2024 regular board meeting of Leechburg Area School District. Please stand, 6:41. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Roll call, please. Here.
Mr. Dunbar. Here. Mrs. Knight.
Here.
Mr. Lefferts. Here. Mr. Lovelace.
Here.
Mr. Maxon.
Here.
Mr. Paulus. Ms. Stewart.
Here.
Mr. Thompson.
Here.
Do we have any public comment on agenda items this evening? Okay.
You guys can
A motion is needed to approve the meeting minutes for the month of November 2024 as submitted. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve the following 24-25 athletic supplementals as submitted, pending successful completion of all required paperwork and clearances. Dan Lukabaugh, girls varsity basketball assistant coach. This is a paid position.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve the budget transfers for the month of December 2024 as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to acknowledge receipt of the following financial reports and to ratify and approve the expenditures expressly set forth therein. The check detailed reports.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve administration to prepare and pay December 2024 invoices with a list to be emailed to the board on or about December 17th, 2024 for review and to be presented for approval at the January 2025 regularly scheduled board meeting.
Just to add to this, what we'll do is email it out, just since there's a gap in there, since we're so early here, we don't want to leave bills that are due and get late payments. When that email comes out, if there's any questions on it, we'll pull those items and not pay them. But anything that there's no questions on, we'll make sure it's paid and then get retroactively approved in January since we come back on that.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve the Catapult Learning LLC Educational Services Agreement as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion is needed to approve the contract with Government Software Services, Inc. for the Homestead Farmstead printing as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve a resolution to have the authorized signers on the First Commonwealth Bank accounts changed as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
And this just switching it to me and Greg. It's still currently under Teresa and Tiffany on there, which we haven't used it, so it wasn't that we need formal approval to be able to change.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion is needed to approve professional development request 16.1 as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
What if we told him no?
I know. Motion carries.
And I talked to him, like I said, I think we should be good moving forward in January of getting the things by the end of the month before they do them. When we switched to that one, they still, a couple of them were confused on what paperwork they were using, who they were turning it into. But my hope is that we don't have retroactive stuff. There's gonna be some internal discussions if they continue to bring anything retroactive.
It could still happen through no fault of anyone, just
Yeah,
due to
no,
like
no,
turnaround on
a lot of
something.
times There's times that we get an email that, hey, this
Yeah.
is happening next week. I don't want to cut that, but if it's something they know, I want them to make sure they have it in at
I can understand that.
A motion is needed to approve the 2025 school board meeting calendar as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
So we can always add meetings or take
Yep.
away meetings if we need to.
Yeah, this is the list that will be published. So if we add them, we just have to post it. If we cancel, we just have to make notification that it's canceled.
And then you said you'd make it the second?
It's the second Wednesday of every month is the main one. May will be the third just because of the budget, and then there's 2 in June and 2 in August.
Oh, yes.
And then there'll also be the December one will be early again, not on the Wednesday for the reorg.
Okay.
Roughly, what is the cost when we have to advertise that? It's not a big deal, right?
It's not terrible.
$80 or
Yeah.
something?
Try not to if we don't have to, so I think we have everything in advance of what we're doing. You know, if we need to pull a committee meeting ahead to discuss something, we can still do that through the board. It's totally allowed to have everybody at the committee meeting as well.
We don't have to advertise cancellations, though.
We just have to post it.
Post it,
We don't have
so-
to put it in the paper.
Yeah, so that helps.
The other ones have to be posted in the paper 72 hours,
Yeah,
or 48 hours.
yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any public comment on non-agenda items this evening? No. Okay. The next combined public work session / regular school board meeting will be held in the Leechburg High School Library on Wednesday, January 8th at 6:00 p.m. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 6:48.
All right, thank you, Jim.